Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us for the SIG CLI bug scrub. It is, what is today's date? June 24th, and we are unable to get into Zoom right now, so we are using Google Meet. So hopefully this works out. So I wanted to start real quick. I posted in the channel about this cool project that came out of Google from Thomas Stromberg. It's called Triage Party, and it's basically like a dashboard that runs a whole bunch of GitHub API queries, and it runs against some YAML filters. And entire screen. Oh, share. Okay, I have to restart Chrome real quick. Okay. All right. Now I should be able to share my screen. Cool. Everyone can see this?
The font's pretty small.
All right, I'll blow it up a bit. So this is Triage Party. It's the open source project under Google's open source GitHub org. They're using it for Minikube and SIG release and a bunch of other SIGs and groups and working groups. And like I said, it basically just runs a bunch of GitHub API queries against a YAML filter file. And it lets you pull in and categorize things like, here are unprized issues older than 7 days. And they have SLAs with resolution paths forward that they use where like, okay, if you add a priority or a label, it'll pull it out of this queue. And so the way that they were working through their backlog and their queue is they broke it out into different tasks for like weekly and daily and quarterly. And all this is configurable and tweakable. Mache seemed to be pretty interested in it, so I've been working on getting it set up. I'm going to figure out how to finish the filters. I'm working with Thomas to get those queued out. And then we'll get this deployed somewhere. And hopefully this would allow us to easily peek at things that need to get done. I don't know if anyone has any kind of personal tools they're using to look at open issues besides just what GitHub provides. But I thought this was a good thing for us to give a shot at. Anyone have any thoughts or anything on that?
I think it would be great to get like one of the things I struggle with, especially early on, is understanding what in the issue list is actually wanted versus just something that an idea that somebody had and posted there. And like, I mean, I realize that we could, submit a pull request and then have it decided then, but it would be nice to have some sort of, and maybe this provides us, but some sort of triage that says, this if you do a pull request for this, it has a chance of being accepted. It's something that we were interested in.
Right. That's cool. I think we can use like help wanted labels for that too. The other real nice thing is this allows you to pull in multiple repos on the same view. And so we can actually pull in all of our kubectl tagged issues from the Kubernetes main repo and get them all displayed on the same page. So I thought that was pretty neat. Cool. Anyone else thoughts on this? Cool. All right, well, let's give it a shot. Let's get started. Ooh. And I just want to make sure we're looking at the same things here. So this is issue 885. And we have, okay, cool. So that shows up here under unprioritized recent issues. So I guess we can start with that. And it looks like it's reported as a bug. And Sean's already ahead of me.
I could just try to add some labels while we're going through this if you guys want me to.
No, that's great. Should we So one of the things that they were heavily relying on when using this was if it's not prioritized, it shows up in here, or if it's not marked triage. We generally prioritize some stuff, but we leave a lot of things unprioritized. Is that something we want to start doing a bit more? Or, I don't know, Sean, you have more experience with that.
So in the past, we've actually been using a kind of a smaller subset of labels, I believe. Almost all of them get SIG CLI and area kubectl, and then there's the difference between the features, the kind feature and the kind bug. To be honest, the features are not what we. It doesn't appear that's what we focus on. It's more, is there something wrong? Is there a bug? And then there also is a priority label 0 through 4. And so do you guys agree that maybe the bugs are what we should focus on, since features that seem important we could bring up to the meeting to see whether or not those should be. It feels like those aren't. It's pretty uncommon that those are actually even accepted, and so. What do you guys think of calling it a bug script, that we, focus on the bugs as opposed to the features? Sound reasonable?
Yep. Yeah, that sounds great. Do we have criteria? Do we want to try to adopt how they're doing this, where it kind of doesn't show up in this queue if it's prioritized, or has it? I don't think we've really used a triage label before, have we?
No, but that, I think that is a good, definitely a good practice. I haven't been using those, and I think, we should start using those.
Cool. Okay, so.
In fact, some of those with the duplicate and not reproducible, those are really useful. Wonder if those are new.
Is there like a needs triage? No.
I think it's just those that are.
Use information. Let's see.
Without the labels are considered untriaged.
Right. Okay. So I assume this is an actual bug because it's reported by Zhao. I guess we should prioritize this, right?
Yeah. So just as a quick question, maybe for somebody who has more experience with cluster role binding, is this really a bug? So if so, it would be that there's a conflict between the global user flag and the user flag within. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we only need some more information on this.
Yeah, I think what's missing here is how to reproduce it. I think that's helpful.
Yeah, we can't really have to be honest, a bug report should not. So triage with more information seems like a very reasonable approach for this particular one. Asking for how to reproduce the bug.
Okay.
Well, does that sound harsh, or does that sound reasonable for the rest of the team, for the rest of you guys?
Is /triage you think is the command? I don't actually know that one.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question.
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's learn our triage.
All right, that worked. Cool. So I know we had some other folks on the call. If anyone feels like picking these up, feel free to jump in. And this is probably a good one to get started on if you're looking for a first issue. See if you can reproduce this, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, it might not be the easiest to make progress on, because you'll probably need to get consensus on how to interpret that user flag through others in the SIG. But just getting more information on how to reproduce it and what this is, it would be a great first step.
Cool. And that made it disappear from this triage queue. So that's cool. All right. Let's see. CTL 884. I just want to make sure that this is pulling all the ones we're looking at.
So this is the kubectl plugins do not work when options placed before the plugin name?
Yes. Yeah, okay, that is showing up on the list.
Well, at least this person had a really good reproduced description.
Brian.
So this actually...
Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
We went back and forth. Originally, the problem was that it didn't work with an alias, but it turned out his alias had flags in the alias, and then we discovered that what the problem really is that if you have flags before the plugin name, it won't work.
So that may be a known issue and something that may not be fixable. Just the way that we execute plugins.
I think you're right, and I think at the very bottom there, Night 42. It sounds like they're going to look at it, but was saying basically just that maybe an error message or something, a better error message other than right now it just says I can't find your plugin, when it's not really true. It's that there's flags before the plugin. So at least that would help somebody.
Cool.
It may be useful to assign Ahmet. Actually, Juan was kind of Mr. Plugin, Juan Vallejo, who joined Tesla and kind of dropped off the radar. Let's not worry. Let's not worry about who to assign. Sorry, I went on a tangent there, but
no, I was just looking into the PR. In the PR, it actually went on another journey and got some comments from Ben the Elder, and I'm not sure where it's actually at right now, but it's either going to pass all the arguments or give a warning, give an error message or something. But definitely somebody's already working on this.
Cool.
Let me add the kubectl label.
Do we have a explanation of the different priority tags that we use? Is there like docs anywhere for any of that?
I'm not sure about docs. I think it's been just conventions, and I've only been adding priority labels for bugs, not features.
Got it.
I think we've been using kind of thumbs ups to gauge interest in features, but then, really having a champion for that feature show up at a SIG meeting and convince the rest of the SIG why the enhancement or the feature would be worth it.
I like that. I just saw that this actually includes the thumbs up as a column you can sort on here, so that's pretty cool. So if we want to follow using this convention, we would need to add a label or a triage label to this to get it out of the queue. maybe give it like a low priority label, or?
So I'm going to see if that priority, the P2, so P2 is the default that I've been using.
Okay.
With P1 meaning, we better get to it pretty soon, and P0 meaning stop everything, kubectls not working.
Right. And then where would 3 and 4 fall?
Yeah, we're probably not going to get to this.
Okay. Well, a one day nice to have.
Yeah, I mean, so these are just kind of, to be honest, conventions that I've been using myself, and I'd love to hear everybody else's input on how to manage that. But does P2 sound like a reasonable default? I think that's what I've been. Yeah, that's where I've been when I've been tagging this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We can. So I guess what I'm realizing is like we should get some docs and some like handbooks together to figure out how we want to do all this. And okay.
Yeah, that's very very reasonable, and I guess I'll apologize for not having been gotten more community involvement in kind of my use of the labels.
No worries, dude.
These things.
It's all good. Cool. Okay, we can start working on getting that together. So that's prioritized, so it should disappear. And then, okay, it probably needs a refresh. So this one's by Brian.
Yeah, this was maybe a little bit of a false start on this. One of the things that came from another issue is that since we've upgraded to Cobra 1.0, Cobra has so right now we have a lot of custom bash code in kubectl that handles completions, and Cobra has that basically lets you do dynamic completions using Go instead of custom bash scripts. And so the idea was that we could convert our dynamic or convert all of our dynamic completions from bash to Go, and that would somehow enable us to then get rid of all the custom translation layer we have for Z shell completions, and would also enable fish shell completion, which other people have asked for. So the idea was that because we were at Cobra 1.0 now, that we could do that, and it would kind of get rid of a lot of ugly code and enable more completions. But having some discussions with a guy who did it for Helm, that the Z shell completions provided by Cobra are not quite ready yet. So I don't think it's kind of one of those jigsaw puzzle things where, or maybe it's more like a whack-a-mole or whatever, but you can't like get everything. I kind of came down to like, I don't want to break something else by doing this at this point. So I don't know, maybe I should close this issue or not, but
so I know when I've used Cobra, it actually spits out most of this bash file, right? Like when you do Cobra new, it spits out this basically. Is that changed?
No, I mean, so there's two kinds of completions. There's like the completions about the commands and subcommands and the things that Cobra knows about, but then there's complete dynamic completions, like get all the pods from the cluster and show the pod list. And so that's actually in another. The stuff you're looking at is there, and the all the dynamic completions are in another file. Let's see. I think I linked to it in the issue description. No, I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
Okay.
Should we add a triage, some kind of triage label? Is there any that we think fits this particular? Brian, do you have any?
No, and maybe that's why. Yeah, and that is probably a low priority. I don't Yeah, I mean, it really just kind of stemmed out of the request for fish completion, which at first I thought, well, this is going to be an easy one because Cobra 1 supports fish. All we have to do is just plug it in and use it. But it's not an easy one. So I'm almost saying maybe this should just be closed
Close.
or closed for now at least, or like reopen later. But I wasn't sure. So I'm glad we're having a chance to talk about this. I don't think I'm going to work on this in the foreseeable future, and I don't know that. I don't know. It's probably not a good first issue either. So I'm almost I don't know. What I don't want to like break protocol about just closing something, creating something and closing it. But what do you guys think?
It definitely sounds like a future something we work on in the future.
So yeah, P3 or P4 or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's good to track the work for sure. I don't think we should close it. I put in a P3 here to get consensus.
And it's do we have the enhancement feature kind of
Is it enhancement or feature?
yeah, I think it looks like the feature label may already be on there.
Okay. Everyone good with the P3 for that? Yep.
Yeah, so that sounds good to me.
Cool. And it looks like I did the kind wrong. I guess is it kind enhancement?
It's
You
already
already have the feature label.
Oh, it did it later? Okay. Ooh. Oh, it already has the feature label. Thank you. Okay, cool. So that'll pop off. Enhancement request. Oh, Alex.
So this was actually something that was brought up in the SIG CLI meeting, and there's a lot of interest in this particular issue.
Oh, yes, this is the managed fields one.
Right.
Okay.
And just how verbose it is. I think it was just the last meeting that this was discussed.
So I would say this is a duplicate then.
So I think one of them is over in the Kubernetes repo.
Yes.
Even though it kind of feels like it should be over in this repo. Yeah.
I think the Kubernetes one has, way more activity on it.
Yep.
And Mache was
okay.
there, so yeah.
So how about triage duplicate? What do we think of that label?
And then would we close it as well?
I wonder if triage does that.
That's a good question. If we look at the main repo, and any tag duplicate, there are none open. Okay, so Ben closed it manually. So I'm gonna guess triage duplicate does not close it.
Okay, yeah, let's keep all of the information and discussion on the other. Seems like two of them, so closing seems reasonable.
We'll track this on. Cool.
Sounds good.
Okay. CP is bound over.
Detached, we're done. Yeah, I mean, we definitely would like more information on this. What do you guys think of adding that triage more information?
That's fair. So this is, it's not passing through Control P. I'm not, yeah, I think we need more info.
I'm gonna add a couple tags myself.
Cool. Update doc for customized config map generator. Okay. Yeah, so this, I guess this is tied to bringing over us updated customize. So we can probably close this. Everyone good with that? Yes, no?
Yes,
Cool.
I'm actually back on the previous one,
Oh.
trying to get the triage more information label on there.
Okay. I really do like this little dashboard thing. I think if we can like get down to a good cadence of going through here, it'll be good. Verb validation when creating role not in line with API. Something that could be useful.
Creating roles using.
This seems like an oversight on our part.
Yeah, this is more the SIG off, if you ask me. It would probably be better to point this user in that location. Not if we're,
I'm just trying to see where this error comes from. This comes from us. Well, it comes from kubectl. I don't know if we own that file. Create role.
which one are we looking at?
Invalid verb. If array does not contain, oh, okay, here we go. Oh yeah, so we have a hard-coded list of allowed verbs in here.
So maybe we're missing some?
Well, he has a custom verb that he's using. He's using my action.
For CRDs, they want custom verbs.
Using custom verb is something users can do to extend Kubernetes.
Gotcha. So maybe just get rid of that validation.
Potentially.
Or, well, yeah. Yeah, okay.
I think that triage label is needs information, by the way, not more.
Cheers. Yeah, that was needs information. Okay.
All right, I just threw a quick note on there. kubectl version command on Docker desktop from Mac always returns unable to connect to server. This sounds like a support issue. Well, Brian, you're on here.
Yeah, I think this actually can be closed.
Is the label support? What is that?
I think it's like triage support or something, if I recall.
Triage support, yeah. Okay. Is everyone good with so my thought process is we have a paper trail of like the triage label and then we close it?
Sounds good. What are we just for future? What's the semantic meaning of triage support?
My thought is this is not an issue with the tool itself. This is more like a Stack Overflow type question where the user needs a handhold or help.
Okay, got it.
You guys okay with that? That's what I think when I hear support.
That sounds really. That's actually a great way to organize.
Ability to run command against context parameter.
This one might also be a support thing, basically. I think this solved it, the dash context flag.
Yeah, there hasn't been any activity for a month. You okay with closing it the same?
I am.
Cool. Job duration equals age when all pods fail.
This sounds like a bug.
There's a PR open that Brian pointed to. PR is assigned to Mache. Oh, this is an old one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I linked that just for context, but I don't know that that PR is ever going to make it.
Oh, no, there's another PR that's very similar to this for jobs. It's really old. It goes back to like 2017 or something.
So the most recent work on that PR actually seems like what, April? And Janet Kuo recently commented on the PR back in March.
I know there's another one out there because I actually ran into this. I don't know where it is though. Oh, unless it's this issue maybe. No. Okay, regardless, what should we do with this one? Should we close this since it's tracked somewhere else?
Is it tracked somewhere else though? I mean, I think that's just a PR. I don't know. I mean, I guess the PR probably has an issue, right?
That's a good question. Yes, this PR has an issue here. From 2019.
Yeah, that's in the Kubernetes repo instead of the kubectl repo, which maybe should we mark it duplicate of the one in the Kubernetes repo and close this one?
Are you okay with that, Brian?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think maybe we could just point to this other issue and make it a little easier to get to, or to nodes related.
Yeah, put that other issue in here. What it is an actual duplicate of in the Kubernetes repo, right? I
Okay.
think triage may be there may be a
Oh, thank you.
issue.
I spelt that wrong. There we go. Okay. It's interesting how the label bot goes way before the close bot. Okay, this one's from Antoine. So I've been poking at this, and I was able to reproduce it. I might need another.
The stream results one.
Yeah, so I'm not sure Antoine is on the same page as me. Because he keeps telling me to look at this multi-GVK thing, but like all of that code is way after where the issue line is. So this might need another set of eyes. I guess it needs a priority. I guess you all okay with P2 as the default?
That sounds good to me.
Brian, if you get a chance to look at this one, it might be good to have your help on it. I can give you access to the cluster where I reproduce this. I basically made like 100,000 config maps.
Yeah, I can take a look at it.
Okay.
I mean, I can just, if it's just create a whole bunch of config maps, I can just do that, unless there's some special thing about it.
It was surprisingly hard and took a long time to create that many config maps. I was very surprised. I had to run a program overnight to do it.
Well, how many did you create?
100,000.
Oh, okay.
That's where I started seeing the issue.
So there may be a little bit more context for that one, which is that when we moved to server-side printing, we did not implement sorting, I think, and you have to have all of them before you can sort. Yeah, so sorting and streaming are in tension there, and it's not clear to me. I think that whoever digs into that may find that they run into limitations that were actually coded in, unfortunately, on purpose to get server-side printing out.
The issue for this one is actually the chunk size. If you give a massive chunk size, it completed in 5 seconds. But if you had the default chunk of 500, it took 42 seconds. And that's because it had to make whatever, whatever the division is, 200 requests to get that, 200 round trips. It just took a long time.
Okay.
So it sounds like for every chunk, it's retrieving the whole thing and then just taking out the piece it's going to return, maybe, or something like that.
Oh, I actually didn't look at that. I just know the longest part was the round trips. It just making 200 round trips took a very long time. But the API server was totally fine giving it back to me in 5 seconds, all at once. So we can move on from this one.
Okay, cool. And there's no sorting issue. Okay.
No, there was literally no. It was just the round trip. 200 round trips just took forever. kubectl drain should have an option. Okay, this has a PR.
So yeah, this feels to me like definitely something the rest of the SIG should be in on the decision whether or not we add this particular very, substantial ability I'm not 100% convinced that this is something that we should be doing.
So this is one that we should bring up in a SIG meeting, right?
That's my take on it, is that if you want to, if you're going to be, draining without coordinating, that may end up being. I'd like some more eyes on that to see before I feel comfortable with allowing anybody to do that.
Okay. Can you add that to the notes for the next meeting so we don't miss that one?
Sure.
Does that feel like a P2 for you? The issue?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, how are we doing on time? 10 minutes. The whole deployment is ready to lead. It would be awesome if Wait would support customize. There's a PR. Okay. Oh, Brian, you're all over this one. Is there a priority here? Important long term. Okay, that's a very different priority label than what we have.
So I was kind of using the P1 through P0 through 4 for bugs, and then like the important long term or the other priority labels for enhancements.
Okay.
I think for like PRs, both PRs have like a different priority. They have critical urgent, important long term, and important soon, which I can't remember which between. I guess urgent is like 1, soon is 2, and long term is 3 or something.
So this is the Kubernetes org. They actually don't have those P0, P1. They have the words out. So I don't know. Do you have any history on where that came from, Sean?
Yeah, those are, I think as Brian mentioned, for the PRs and not for the issues.
This is all labels, so this is under issues.
I guess it is. But I've definitely seen those, and it seems a little odd to me. I personally like the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So let me rephrase that. So I've been using the priority, these priority labels for PRs and not for issues.
Gotcha.
Then again, I haven't been involved in really that many issues in the main Kubernetes repo since all of our stuff I try to keep in the kubectl repo.
Okay. Yeah, so the main repo doesn't have those. Is that something we want to adopt and not use these? That's probably a broader issue to bring up at a SIG meeting, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. I'll take a look. I wonder if any of the other sub-projects have anything different. So, let me go to the website real quick. This is good. I'm glad we're figuring out all this stuff that needs to be decided on. Okay, yeah, it looks like we're the only ones who use those numbers. Well, I only looked at 2, but... okay, I'll add that to the agenda. And then, how much time do we have? 6 minutes. No, I just opened this one. Top. Oh, so wait, we need a label on this one to get it out of here. Would you say this is a P2? The K flag to wait? What's it given here? Important long term. Does that feel like a P2 or a P1?
Yeah, I let's see, minus K. So this, yeah, this actually feels like it's, we have customizing kubectl, but the customized team has been trying to upgrade to the latest version of customize. It seems like it may. It seems like it may fit more with those guys. I don't think there's a label for customize. Do we have an area customize label?
No.
That feels like now that, yeah.
Are these added dynamically, or do we have to make a PR to add them?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Well, let's see. Customize. I don't know if that will show up. Okay, yeah, so we have to add it somewhere. Okay, we have to add it to Prow. Priority-wise, so should this be reopened on Customize?
Can we just for this one-off assign this to Monopole, to Jeff Reagan, who's been, I think it's to just so that this is on his radar, since he's more of a customized guy.
Okay. We need to give it a priority or a triage label. I guess, should we just give it a P2 and then figure it out from there?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
As the default? Okay.
I would imagine there's a wider circle of people involved in deciding how that goes forward, and I'm not one of those wider circle.
Cool. And let's see how we do it on time. We got 3 minutes left. We squeeze one more in. Top error message. Kind of clean up. Would you say a cleanup is a P3?
Okay, error message not huge.
Might be a dupe.
Is it a dupe? He said it.
I know it says, I found this dupe of.
So this is part of the 119 milestone. So has this already been done? I'm gonna guess it's been done. Is there an error message? Metrics API. Ooh.
I just tried it on 119 and got a different message. It says error metrics API not available. Whereas before it said error from server, the server cannot find the requested resource, Heapster something.
Cool. So I guess we'll close this. It'll ship with 119. And then this is the PR that fixed that. Okay, cool. And with that, we are out of time.
What does the triage party? How has it changed now that we've tried to triage those issues?
So all of those issues that we tossed a label on are no longer on this list, which is nice.
So does the list give us a number? So is there a number we can point to say that we started with this number and now we have this number?
I don't see anything. Let me see. That's something we can ask Thomas about. If they can keep track of like a session.
You mean like a daily chart or something that shows how many are open or untriaged or something? Or you just mean during this meeting, like how many we knocked out?
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious. We don't have to dig into that. I was just
This, so we closed 6. I don't know how many we labeled because we started with 66.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how many we labeled. But I do like this. I do if we can figure out our handbook for how often we want to go through here. This is an easy thing that we can pop open once it's deployed somewhere and see what needs attention, what hasn't been touched in like a week or so. I do like this tool a lot actually. Anyone have any other thoughts?
Do you have the link? Is that something you're like? Is there a link to this?
There will be. This is running on my local dev machine, which I planned on using ngrok to like expose, but apparently Amazon blocks ngrok completely, so I can't do that. So I'll get it deployed for next time. Sean, do we have any? Do you have any preference where we get this deployed? Do we have any infrastructure or something, or I guess I can talk to Thomas.
Yeah, I think we would need to talk to the guys who are running Prow, the ngprod guys. That seems like the best course of action for that. That's the team that I think uses Kubernetes and manages Kubernetes resources most.
Okay. I'll sync with Thomas and figure out where. I think he has his just deployed on like Cloud Run somewhere under GCP. I'll see what his plans are.
So yeah, I think Ben the Elder might be, as far as the specific contact, might be a good person to have.
Okay.
Eddie, really appreciate you taking the initiative on all of this. And especially thanks for setting up the logistics of the meeting, since apparently my dropping the ball on that.
Hey, no worries. I'm happy to help. I'm glad we're getting some. I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but I'm glad we're getting some organization and like figuring out where our gaps are in terms of like having our processes figured out. So I'll write up some notes and I'll make sure they get on the agenda for next time about like decisions we need to make as a SIG.
Yeah, so I just put that one issue that we mentioned on the notes for the next Wednesday's July 1st meeting.
Cool.
Just as a reminder for us to bring that particular issue up.
Okay. I'll add a couple more. I'll add about figuring out standardizing on our priorities, our labels.
Got it.
Let's see.
I'm gonna have to run myself to another meeting that I'm late for. But again, really appreciate the all the work on this.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
See you.